Hey, I want to talk to you today about money mindset. This is a story about me and what I discovered about my money mindset that I actually didn't know until not that long ago. Okay, this started out of a conversation with my mother in which she asked me how my business was going, and I said it's going great, and said that I just started working on this podcast and it looked like I had a book proposal that was going to be accepted. And my mom said, "That's great. Just be sure that you don't get too big for your britches." Too big for your britches, okay? This is lingo in my family that says, don't play big. Stay small. Don't do anything that's going to get you noticed, even if it's positive attention. The comment just stuck with me, and I just kept thinking about this. Don't get too big for your britches. And I started thinking about what I call the trifecta of life: love, work, and money, right? Love, work, and money. And I realized I had never had a time where I had all three of those. I had love, money, and a job that sucked the soul out of me. I had money and I had work that I loved, but I didn't have a love life. I had never had all three of those things. Now, how does this play into what's going on? We moved to France. We've been here 2 years, right? And this was something that people were like, I don't know how you can do that. Well, we did it because we planned. We were very smart about what we did and very strategic. And the idea being that I was just going to continue my business online. We got here, we settled in, gave myself a few months to sort of, make the cultural transition. I wasn't making any money. I was working my ass off, but I wasn't getting any clients. I wasn't bringing in any income. I was spending money. I was getting coaches. I was getting help with this, that, and the other. I wasn't making any money. And it was that comment from my mom about don't get too big for your britches that finally opened up a window in which I could finally see what I was doing to myself. You see, we all have this money story, right? Your money story evolves from the people around you when you're growing up and how they talk about money, how they act around money, whether they hoard money, whether they give it away. I had a mom who engaged in a lot of retail therapy. She bought shit every day practically. There's clothing in her closet now from the 80s that still has price tags on it. I kid you not. My dad, on the other hand, treated money as though it were the greatest burden in his life. If a bill came in, he would moan and lament for hours. If we had to go somewhere, he wasn't going to stop because then he might be coerced into buying us a soda or something. I mean, it was crazy, the disparity between these two. But what I learned around that was nothing. What I learned from that was I wasn't supposed to have it all. I was supposed to struggle, and I was supposed to make sure that I never got too big for my britches. And I did a really good job of that in some ways. In other ways, not so much, because I'm the black sheep of my family. Now, you wouldn't think somebody who's a psychologist, who's living in France, who's chosen to live abroad multiple times, you wouldn't think I would be the black sheep, but I am, because I chose to stand out in this way. When I understood what I was doing with those three things, how I was making sure that I could have a great love and a great life and great work, but I couldn't make any money. Because if I made money, I was going to be too big for my britches. So just think about that. Now, if you've worked with me before, then you know I talk a lot about your money story, and so I want you to think about your own money story. I want you to think about how that's playing into your business right now. And you don't have to think about it in terms of the trifecta, but I think sometimes it's nice to have that as a little guiding principle. Have you had times in your life when you've had all three? And if you have and you've lost it, then you may be scared to death to have it again because you could lose it again. So whatever your story is, write it below as much as you know about it. If you're struggling with it, write that below. If you have discovered what to do about it, write that below, because I love to have a good story. All right, this is Dreama, and we're going to talk soon.